Welcome to Jack Whippet Court here on the campus of Kimberly High School for tonight's Fox Valley Association showdown between the visiting Hortonville Polar Bears and the host Kimberly Papermakers. Good Thursday evening, everyone. It's time for another USA Today Network Wisconsin digital live stream production. I am Ricardo Arguello, hanging out as always with Brett Christopherson, part of USA Today Network Wisconsin, and we have a couple of cameramen. Our usual Jim Rosendick, we call him Rosie, bringing you a couple of those high-definition shots. Don't forget about Jordan Jacobson. He's at mid-court, hopefully bringing you a full-court shot, or mid-court shot, I should say, Brett, because we might be experiencing some technical difficulty. But we're doing what we can. I know you got it all covered, Brett. It's in your hands.
Hey, I saw Rosie had the needle-nose pliers, so I know he's got it all figured out. All you need is duct tape and a pair of needle-nose pliers. You're all set to go.
Well, I'm hoping everything works out fine, Brett, because this is a game that you and I have been talking about for a while, and Rosie as well. This is a big one. This is a big one. Title implications in terms of the Fox Valley Association. You got Hortonville that's leading the league. Appleton East is kind of nearby. Don't forget about Kimberly. It's I think 3 games behind. So this is a big game in terms of the final conference stretch, Brett. If Hortonville gets the win here, that makes it extremely tough for Kimberly to have a share of the title.
Yeah, Ricardo. Hortonville 14-0, undefeated in league play. Appleton East second at 16-2, and then Kimberly 14-3. Check that. Appleton East 12-2 in league play. Kimberly 11-3. So yeah, a Hortonville win gives it no worse than a 2-game lead, presumably over Appleton East, depending on what happens tonight, with 3 games to play. So we're going to see how this plays out, and it should be a good game. A game that we streamed the first matchup back in Hortonville in early January. That Hortonville really looked good in that game. So the Polar Bears coming in riding a long winning streak. But this Kimberly team, they're ready to go.
We'll start off with some notes here, again put together very nicely by Brett every week. I'll start off with some Kimberly ones you can follow with some Hortonville ones there, Brett. Kimberly comes in 14-3 overall, 11-3 in the FEA. They're ranked 6th in Division I in this week's Associated Press State poll. They're 9th in Division I this week's WisSport.net coaches poll, and they're coming off a 66-52 victory over Appleton West last Friday in a Fox Valley Association contest. That was here at Jack Whippet Court at Kimberly High School. UW Green Bay recruit Maddie Schreiber. She leads the Papermakers with 20 points, or she led the Papermakers with 20 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 blocks against Appleton West. She shot 7 of 13 overall, 3 of 7 from the three-point range. Hey, Marissa Murray added 14 points on 5 of 13 shooting. That included a 4 of 10 showing from beyond the arc, and Murray also finished with 5 rebounds. Brooke Elstad at 11 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 steals. Good overall game for the former Oshkosh North standout. And overall, Kimberly hit 12 three-pointers, posted 16 steals, and tallied 5 blocks against the Terrors. Now, Schreiber is the Papermakers' leading scorer at 16.4 points a game. That ranks 3rd in the conference, and she's shooting 53% overall. Her 33 pointers are tops on the team in that category as well. She's shooting 41% from distance. Now, Murray is next in scoring at 9.2. She's also second on the team in threes with 22. Kyla Dunaway, she leads Kimberly in rebounding at 4.9 per game. Schreiber is next at 4.8, followed by Murray at 4.7. Now, Kate Harches, 3.3 assists, is tops on the team in that category. And overall, Kimberly is averaging 57.2 points and allowing 41.6. And defensively, opponents are shooting just 34% overall and only 32% from the three-point line. A couple of other team stats: Papermakers are forcing 17.5 turnovers per game, and they're averaging nearly 13 steals per game. Now, next Kimberly game, they're at home against Fond du Lac on Tuesday, and the FEA matchup tip-off scheduled for 7:15 p.m. Brett, what can you tell me about the Polar Bears?
Yeah, 17-1 overall, as I mentioned, undefeated at 14-0 in the Fox Valley Association. The Polar Bears ranked number 1, Ricardo.
That's right.
In Division II in both polls, the Associated Press and WisSports.net state coaches polls. And they're coming off a 69-41 victory over Oshkosh West last Friday in a Fox Valley Association matchup at Hortonville. UW Milwaukee recruit Macy McGlone had another big night as she finished with 19 points and 8 rebounds. She shot a very efficient 8 of 10 from the floor, and helping the Polar Bears race to a 36-16 halftime lead. Morgan Jenzema added 10 points in the win. Lyric Johnson chipped in with 9 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists. Overall, Hortonville shot 50% and out-rebounded the Wildcats 36-31. McGlone is Hortonville's leading scorer at 17.5 points per game. That's second in the FBA, and also shooting 62%. How about that? Lexi Day is next at 11 points per game. She's also leads the Polar Bears in threes with 27. Morgan Draheim, a St. Cloud State Recruit Division II player, is third in scoring at 8.9 a game. Her 22-3 are second on the team. McGlone leads the way in rebounding at 8.2 per game. That ranks third in the league. And Cami Pepler's 5.7 assists per game are tops on the team and the FBA. Pepler, Ricardo, also a UW Milwaukee recruit. Overall, Hortonville is averaging 69.6 points and allowing 44.4. It's shooting 45% as a team and 35% from three-point range. Defensively, opponents are shooting 39% overall, 29% from triple. From distance, I should say. Other team stats, the Polar Bears are out-rebounding their opponents on average per game, 33.6 to 19.4. So a decisive advantage on the glass. They're also averaging 14.1 steals per game and forcing nearly 17 turnovers per game, Ricardo. And up next for the Polar Bears, they don't have a game till next Friday, so a little bit of a layoff. They'll be taking on Neenah at home. That's an FBA matchup. Tip-off is scheduled for 7:30 p.m.
As Kimberly comes back onto the floor.
Hopefully having some signal issues with our mid-court cam, so if for some reason that goes out, Rosie, who's sitting next to us, we're actually on the balcony tonight behind one of the baskets. Initially the press box here in the gym was going to be full, but so as we found out that it was actually available, we had already kind of set up our stuff. Takes a little doing to move the equipment, so if for some reason the half-court, mid-court view goes out, we got the behind the basket, the baseline view, which we used to do back in the day before we had the wireless camera. So just to let you guys know what's going on there. And again, Hortonville, Ricardo, 17-1 overall, 14-0 in league play. Kimberly, 14-3 and 11-3. The last time I said Hortonville beat Kimberly 71-53 on January 3rd. That's a game we streamed. Macy McGlone led the Polar Bears with 21 points and 7 rebounds, while Lexi Day added 15 points and 4 rebounds. Mackenzie Drought paced the Papermakers with 14 points that night, and Maddie Schreiber chipped in with 13 points. By the way, that victory for Hortonville, its first over Kimberly since February 16, 2017.
Wow.
A 66-58 Polar Bears home victory back then. So kind of heady stuff for the Polar Bears. We've been talking about Beaver Dam, kind of the gold standard in Division II. They drop now to number 2 in the Division II rankings. I know they've had a setback against a Minnesota team, an Illinois team, and then an Aquinas team that's looking really good in Division IV. I think the Blue Bulls are top ranked.
Yeah, that Aquinas team's great. Lexi Donarski, one of the top recruits in the nation. I think she got invited to the McDonald's All-American game.
Wow.
But let me tell you something, that Division IV team, they whipped Beaver Dam. I mean whipped Beaver Dam. So in my opinion, I had already given, if some of the earlier rankings, Brett, and I'm talking about myself here, I already had given them their only vote. Now, after the Beaver Dam loss, the rest of the state kind of agrees with me. For the most part, I think there's one outlier still voting for Beaver Dam. They're voting for Hortonville. Hortonville has played a legit schedule. They have played a great schedule, and I really am excited. Their only loss came against Bayport, Brett,
right,
early in the season. I mean, Bayport's #1 ranked in Division I.
Right.
And that was a close game. 17
in a row in a league that has 3 state-ranked teams,
yes,
in Appleton East as well. So,
and a former powerhouse in Appleton North. So you see that this is a very good league, Brett, and they're leading the way.
Hey, big thank you to our sponsor, Verlo Mattress Factory of Appleton, Green Bay, Oshkosh, Fond du Lac, and Sturgeon Bay. Their craftsmen manufacture your bed on site with unmatched quality and customer service. Be sure to stop in today for their mismatch sale.
We're nearing the start of tonight's game from Jack Whippick Court. Again, visiting Hortonville, the host Polar Bears.
Got to thank Ryan McGinnis, as we always do. The athletic director here at Kimberly High School, always making sure we're good to go. Sam, the IT guy as well, we appreciate you. Making sure we have a good connection for tonight's Varsity Game of the Week prep basketball live stream. I'll talk about it a little bit later in the stream, but we have 2 games of the week next week.
Yes, we do.
Couple boys games. Looking forward to that.
As we get ready for our national anthem, looks like it'll be played by the Kimberly Band. Nice crowd on hand here for tonight's game as we get ready for the national anthem.
Tell you what, Ricardo, that Kimberly Pep Band always does a great job.
They always do, Brett, and getting ready for the starting lineup for both teams. Brett, it's jersey night or something for the fans as I see some throwbacks. I see a Marino jersey over there, and I want to say there's a number 4 Bears jersey. I'm not sure if that's Jim Harbaugh, but kind of strange to see.
When's the last time the Bears have had a good quarterback?
That's a good question. I don't want to say McMahon. Well, you
Sid
know,
Luckman?
No. Are you talking about production-wise? Because
I'm just talking about
I know Eric Kramer in '95 threw for 30 touchdowns and like 8 interceptions, but he kind of had a career year and then was gone.
You know what's interesting is you talking about the Bears I just noticed our viewership numbers has dropped significantly. Significantly.
Maybe we're talking about the Polar Bears, Brett.
There you go. That's what Hortonville wants to hear about, not the Chicago Bears. Again, thanks to everybody checking us out live tonight on postcrescent.com and facebook.com/postcrescent. We appreciate you checking it out. Hey, Rosie, I don't know if there's a way to brighten it up a little bit on Jordan's camera. A little dark tonight. So we do some technical stuff, Ricardo, prior to the start of this one. Understandably, a lot of media attention here tonight. Not only us, but I see a couple of the local TV crew. Doug Ritchie, Fox 11, the prep expert over there, and your guy, Ryan Rodig. You're going to be on the Channel 5 show this Saturday,
I will.
High School Sports Extra, WFRB TV, Channel 5.
Starting lineups being announced for Kimberly. Brooke Elstad, Courtney Pearson, Kate Karch, Marissa Murray, and Maddie Schreiber. The aforementioned Maddie Schreiber, one of the area's top players.
UW Green Bay
Absolutely.
recruit. And how about Hortonville? 2 recruits to your alma mater, UW Milwaukee, Macy McGlone and Cammie Pepler.
I'm very excited about that, Brett. But
Go ahead.
I was going to say I was going to do the Hortonville starting lineup.
Yeah, go ahead.
Lexi Day, Morgan Draheim, Macy McGlone, Lyric Johnson, and Cammie Pepler, Brett.
Yeah, Pepler, just a sophomore, already committing to UW Milwaukee for the Polar Bears. I believe when we were at Hortonville streaming this game earlier, I thought you said some coaches were there, right?
Yeah. Yep, up to, but they weren't necessarily there to watch those two. They already had them in the fold.
They want more.
They want more. As Kimberly controls tip. Just underway here at Jack Whippet Court.
Well, good help defense as Murray was eyeing up that baseline drive. 2 Polar Bears quickly on Murray. Karch with a tough.
Yeah, and that'll be a traveling.
Yep.
Oh, they're going to call it a jump ball?
Oh, really?
There's a little bit of conversation going on with the referees.
Yeah,
and it is a jump ball. Okay, going over to Hortonville.
Again, good defense is Kate Karch, Ricardo number 21 for the Papermakers. Trying to knife her way inside. And two nice defensive stops early for the Polar Bears.
Brett, talking about the jersey night, there is a Brett Favre Jets jersey over here on the right side, worn by some little kid.
Ouch. That's
gotta hurt,
isn't
my
that
friend.
a forgettable year?
It was not one of his better ones. As we have a foul on Kimberly. That's on Karch.
First team foul.
Battle of these two fantastic Fox Valley Association teams. Brett, excited to be here. I know we're expecting a good one.
Ooh, McGlone. Oh, nice drive. Using the body, tough shot. That was number 12, Morgan Draheim, with the miss, but a pretty good move. Kimberly with the ball. Kind of feeling each other out here, seeing who can make that first run. Two, as Ricardo said, outstanding teams, and Ricardo wouldn't be surprised to see either of these, both of them at the rush.
Yes, Hortonville's Division II, Kimberly's D1.
Again, boy, good double team down near the block as Maddie Schreiber had it.
Well, Brett, both were at the Rush Center last year.
We'll talk about this later on in the webcast too, but I did print out the pairings as far as, who's going where in the sectional. Obviously, brackets aren't out yet. I think the seeding meetings, correct me if I'm wrong, are this weekend on the girls' side?
I'll have to check. I'm not sure myself, but if Mike Sherry back at the office is listening to us, maybe he can verify that.
Yeah, or send us a tweet. Lexi Day picks up her first for the Polar
I think
Bears.
it is, though, Brett, because the tournament starts the week after next.
It's not very far, but yeah, give us a tweet at PC Bretzi, at PC Ricardo. Let us know. Blocked. McGlone got her hands on that shot attempt. Lexi Day, nice bounce pass inside, and knocked away.
Brett, 2 early turnovers already for Kimberly. No score here on your Burlow Mattress scoreboard.
But it's always fun, Ricardo. Fun time of years. We're going to see the brackets on the girls' side, and not too long after the boys' brackets. And then we can really start mapping things out. The exciting thing for us is we will be streaming regional and sectional girls and boys basketball. And look at that bucket is good for Cammie Pepler. Karch picks up her second now, very early in this one. So the 5'4" senior guard for the Papermakers is going to have to take a seat.
The freshman, though, Mackenzie Drought, had a nice game. We've seen her play previously, Brett. She's a solid player, only a freshman.
Yeah. We were talking about that on the R&B show. I know Rosie brought it up. Is Mackenzie Drought, the 5'7" guard, number 5. And then we saw some good things in that early matchup. Another freshman for the Papermakers, 6'3" center, 32, Kylette Dunaway.
Hey, here's Drought with that three-point attempt, no good.
Well, you like to see that as a freshman coming in with no fear. Boy, nice little jumper in the paint, and that's Pepler. And right away, Troy Cullen wants to talk things over. He's not happy with what he's seeing offensively, I would think, in particular.
No, and empty possessions, 3 of them to start for Kimberly, Brett. 2 of them were turnovers.
So 32nd timeout. 5-0 Polar Bears with the early lead. Just almost 2 minutes into this game as we look at our Burlow Mattress Factory scoreboard. Cammie Pepler, all 5 of the Polar Bears points. But give us a shout out tonight. I know Ricardo always likes to hear from where everybody's watching the big game. If you're at school somewhere or from home or wherever you are, give us a tweet or tweet us where you are at PC Bretzi and at PC Ricardo. Here's a good view of Celeste Ratka. Rosie had a shot of her.
She's
expecting another child.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
great with child there. And Brett, look at this little bit of pressure defense by Hortonville. Very confident team, these Polar Bears.
Oh, wow, good hands, good steal. That was Draheim.
Brett, this is looking a lot like the last times they met. A lot of turnovers by Kimberly. 3 in the first 4 possessions.
Boy, great ball movement as McGlone fires another one. falling for the Polar Bears. 7-0 early lead.
Brett, and she's so versatile. She can hit those mid-range jumpers like that. How dangerous is she?
Good drive, but you see, that was a pretty good look by Drought, but the freshman kind of had to pull up as McGlone came over there. Closed out a little bit.
7-0 lead on your Verlo Matcher scoreboard for the Polar Bears, nearing the 15-minute mark in the first half here at Jack Whippet Court. Draheim.
Wow. Look at this, 9-0 start for the Polar Bears. Draheim with a bucket, McGlone earlier, and Pepler with 5. And you said it, Ricardo, very confident indeed. Kind of sense, I think, that they are eyeing up that FVA titles. Maddie Schreiber misses on that attempt for the Papermakers. Marissa Murray trying to tie it up, but Hortonville keeps it.
There's Pepler.
Tough take, and she's fouled.
She's so fearless. She doesn't care that she's going into the trees, Brett. She just dives right in and puts that one up. Draws the foul. Now she's going to the line for 2. 14:27 left here in the first half. 9-0 lead on your Verlo Matcher scoreboard. Hortonville, such a fast start again for the Polar Bears. Pepler converts on her first.
Courtney Pearson picking up the foul for Kimberly. And look at this with that free throw. Boy, if you're Celeste Radka, you can't script a better start. 10-0 run to open this game.
And this is a tough place to play, Brett. Kimberly
sure is.
The Jack Whippet Court, you know, it's kind of, I wouldn't say it has the fans right on it, but many players have talked about them loving the environment here.
Yeah, it's a great environment. It is very close to the court. Excellent pep band that gets everybody fired up as Maddie Schreiber takes it left hand, and she is going to the line, hopefully for the Papermakers. Get on the scoreboard.
Second team foul at the line. Shooting 2 for Kimberly, number 34, Maddie Schreiber.
But definitely can be a hornet's nest when you come here, especially when this place is packed and a very full crowd here tonight for a pair of teams that are ranked in their respective divisions. Kimberly number 6 in Division 1, that's the Associated Press, and Hortonville top ranked in Division 2. And with that free throw, Kimberly finally on the board to end that 11-0 run that Hortonville used to start this game.
Just under 14 minutes now in the first half.
Good job by Schreiber to kind of distort that shot, but Hortonville fighting, and that's going to go to Kimberly now.
Oh, turnover for the Polar Bears. And, you know, these are the kind of possessions that Kimberly needs, either a turnover or an empty one in terms of for Hortonville. Trying to climb back into this one down 11-1. Again, Karch out of the game with 2 early fouls, their starting guard.
Bounce pass. And there was your freshman center, Kyla Dunaway. We're actually doing a pretty good job of screening her defender to get that ball on the block, but it's going to be a foul on Hortonville. Aaliyah Schmidt picks up her first personal. Looking at team fouls right now, 3 apiece.
I just saw Morgan Draheim on her way in almost toppled over Coach Radka.
Whoa.
Got to remember she's great with child there, Morgan. Drought inside, and that's turnover. 4th for Kimberly, Brett, early on. Shot attempt no good as fighting for the rebound and getting the conversion. That Schmidt.
Aaliyah Schmidt just fighting for that board, like you said, Ricardo. Kind of ripped the ball, got possession, and she was right underneath for an easy bucket. Hustle points right there. Blocked as Schreiber. Boy, they really pack the paint, don't they, Hortonville, defensively?
Yeah, I'm trying to see who had that block. Number 25.
Dunaway again doing a good job of screening off the defender. And how about the freshman calling for the basketball? Brett now picks up her second, fourth team foul for the Polar Bears.
Yeah, that block was by Maggie Warner, a sophomore forward. And lots of young players, only 3 seniors I'm counting, or 4, I'm sorry, for Hortonville. Lots of sophomores. 13-1 lead for Hortonville, 12:35 and counting here in the first half on your Verla Mattress scoreboard. Polar Bears smelling an FVA title, Brett.
Well, you know they want an FVA title, but they're thinking more. They're thinking putting something in that trophy case. You know, they've been to state a number of times as McGlone. She's going to go up, bounce pass inside and off the glass. Nice team basketball. That's Draheim with the bucket, and Ricardo, another timeout coming for Kimberly as the Polar Bears have opened a 14-point lead and still have yet to allow a field goal.
Brett, that's just unselfish basketball. You know, McGlone, Brett, she got the steal, or it wasn't a steal, but she was able to get the recovery off the steal, drive down. She could have tried to put it up herself, waited for something to open, waited for Draheim to be open, you know, passed it to Draheim, able to convert Brett. 15-1 lead, and I think if you're Coach Radka, you got to be pleased because it's not just Draheim, or it's not just McGlone, it's not just Pepler, it's the entire team, Brett, playing as one unit.
Yeah, already 4 girls have scored. Schmidt, Draheim, McGlone, and Pepler. Pepler, the leading scorer right now with 7 points, including 3 from the free throw line. If you're Celeste Radka, you're saying keep the pedal down. You can't let up because Kimberly, too talented of a team in a 14-point deficit. Seems like a big hill to climb, but there's plenty of firepower with the Papermakers too. So defensively, you gotta love what Hortonville's doing. Anytime, especially on the block or baseline stuff, there's nowhere to go. I mean, they collapse double teams, triple teams, and they're gonna make sure that they don't get beat inside.
15-1 is the lead for Hortonville near the 12-minute mark in the first half.
Drought, tough jumper, gets it.
Nice.
So, should I say it? Drought ends the drought.
There we go.
I had to say it. First bucket.
Pepler showing off some skills.
Boy, that's too easy to get inside a little runner. She's now got 9 points. Cammie Pepler.
Brett, to get it down court, she did a nice little spin move in between 2 defenders.
I'm sure Troy Cullen thinking defensively, where's my help? We can't give up a little floater inside.
Now, for all of you FVA enthusiasts from back in the day, as another steal.
You see that defense causing so many problems right now. And they're going to get, number 23, Grace Kiefer, on the foul there.
Cammie Pepler is the daughter of former Oshkosh West standout athlete, baseball player specifically Derek Pepler.
There we go.
Named back in the 90s. Brett, I used to work for the Northwestern back in the day.
You've worked everywhere.
I have worked everywhere. And, remember the name. And
you working everywhere means one thing, my friend, and that is Father Time.
I'm old.
Is ticking with you.
I am old.
No matter how much we want the fountain of youth, it's impossible.
Many a rainy season, my friend. 17-3 is your lead for Hortonville. Brett, are you shocked at this opening?
Yes. I expected this one, I guess if you use the first meeting as a barometer, Hortonville won that one fairly handily, but I expected this rematch to be a lot closer. But I've been seeing some folks good move there.
Yeah, breakdown on the defense, Brett, but nice move. But that was Kilpatrick, a sophomore.
Yeah, Emma Kilpatrick. Well, McGlone really sealing up the defender. Just too easy for Macy McGlone. And now she's got 4. I was going to say I've been seeing comments on Twitter and just hearing some things that folks are really impressed with Hortonville, calling them the real deal.
Another steal.
Pepler, she's going to take it coast to coast. Can't get it to fall. And a good rebound by Drought. Up ahead.
Patrick.
And look at that.
Brett, that's only the second rebound by Kimberly. But it brings them within 12. And here's Pepler breaking through.
Oh, good pass. And how do you leave McGlone open? And it's in for a 3-point opportunity. Wow.
Well, they collapsed on Pepler, Brett. She's such a great finisher, so that forces Kimberly to pay extra attention to her as she drives. That incredibly leaves a player like McGlone even open, so you see what a penetrating playmaker can do for an offense.
You know, good job by Pepler just to find her teammate, because I thought she was actually going to spot up and take that shot. She's knocked a couple of those down tonight, those mid-rangers. But good team basketball again, and credit McGlone for finding that soft spot as some confusion in that Kimberly defense. Now McGlone, a chance for the three-point play, and nails it. So McGlone now with 7 points for the Polar Bears, who are up 15.
And that is the 8th turnover. Brett, the same thing we saw in the first game. Kimberly just having problems.
Wow.
As Day now 24-7 lead, and Brett,
clinic right now.
Nothing is working for Kimberly.
No.
They're just frustrated right now.
And everything's working for Hortonville. Both ends operating at high level, giving Kimberly nothing defensively or offensively, and then creating offense from defense. And there you saw, again, good vision by McGlone to find Day. And Pepler now on the run. Nope, she's going to be fouled.
Yes. And again, people who are just tuning in, this is a good Kimberly team. This team is ranked in the top 10.
Yeah, and now Kate Karch just picks up her third for the Papermakers. 16 fouls for Kimberly, 4 for Hortonville. But awfully impressive. Hortonville, as good as they looked back in January, they look even better right now.
Playing with a bit of even more confidence than I saw them over in Hortonville. As Pepler, you got to feel good with her handling the point as Day.
Oh, using the glass, too.
She had a big game in the first meetup, Brett.
4 points now for Day. Textbook stuff, just using the backboard.
It's interesting that, Hortonville, as we see Schreiber.
Nice finish by Maddie Schreiber. Her first field goal. And you can see a little kind of a pump in her fist.
Hortonville has handled Kimberly. They really had 2 big wins over Appleton East, Brett. I think they're clearly the best team in the FBA. Those games were not close.
No, and Appleton East is outstanding. We saw them earlier in the year really take it to Appleton West, which has talent as well. So, yeah, Hortonville kind of passing the test right now. And it would be very interesting to see a rematch. It can't happen, but Hortonville play Bayport again.
Bayport is so impressive. Katie Coleman, what she has done with that team without Emma Nagel, lost for the season with an MCL tear, and she's one of the top. She was a second-team Associated Press All-State player last year, Brett. So they're able to really soldier on without her. It's incredible to think, Brett, that we have possibly the top 3 teams in divisions within this valley.
Yeah,
right, with Ricetown and D3.
It's not all that surprising because it wasn't that long ago when we saw the FVA dominate at state boys and girls, with Oshkosh North winning D1 and Kaukauna winning D2. How about Cammie Pepler from distance? Her first 3 of the game and a 19-point lead for the Polar Bears. Pepler now 12 points. But, so we know there's plenty of talent in Northeast Wisconsin, and we've been bragging about the girls' talent there as Kiera Schmidt now with a triple of her own. A lot of big-time talent on the girls' side for sure. And Schreiber now, a little run for the Papermakers. 6 now for Schreiber.
Oh, no foul on that hip thrust by Kimberly defender, and there's another turnover. 3rd or 2nd in a row for Hortonville.
You can hear Troy Cullen yelling baseline, and good ball movement as Drought rainbows. Just can't get it to fall. Nice rebound by Day. Hortonville likes to come, do that dribble drive, and then kick it along the baseline, hoping to find an open teammate. You can hear Troy Cullen yelling baseline every time, and that one's thrown away.
Brett, 3 straight turnovers for Hortonville. But when you have a 14-point lead, you're able to afford a few mistakes, but can't let it snowball too much against you.
But you're right. 3 of the top 10 teams in D1 are in this region, right? Bayport, Appleton East, and Kimberly, and then, D2. How about a Hortonville-Bayport rematch, if that's possible?
Might be a column of mine, Brett, that I would have to write if things go the way they want it to in terms of a D1, D2 title.
Well, Kimberly down by as many as 19. They're not out of this yet. You just saw a little bit of a run, so they're starting to get some flow offensively. 14-point lead now to cut into, and A 3 attempt. That's short. But again, as I said earlier, Ricardo, they've got the firepower to close these deficits quickly. And there's a turnover.
Well, it's going to be a jump ball, I believe.
A little early on that whistle to call for a jump.
It'll stay with Kimberly, though. I think Kimberly's made a good, has done a good job of kind of, chipping away at that lead, Brett, as McGlone enters the game again. As does number 32 for Kimberly, that's Kyla Dunaway, the freshman center. I was impressed with her the first game.
Yeah, she's going to be a good one, too. Just under 7 minutes remaining in this opening half. Hortonville up by 14 as we look at our Verlo Mattress Factory scoreboard. We'll see if the Papermakers, I guess the goal right now, Ricardo, try to get it in single digits. Scoop shot by Dunaway, no good. Rebound, that's number 25, Maggie Werner, the sophomore. And a turnover. Now Hortonville get a little bit sloppy with the basketball.
And if I'm Coach Radka, if Kimberly scores in this position, you got to call timeout. They're not playing well right now. As
stuff,
a block.
Lexi Day. Marissa Murray trying transition off the head of Dunaway. 3 attempt. Oh, look at McGlone with the rebound, and it's good. Here, Draheim with the miss, but McGlone an offensive rebound, Ricardo, and then scores on the putback and is fouled. So that's a little deflating if you're Kimberly.
The conventional three-point play, if she does convert on this free throw, Brett, that's going to be a nice stop to this rally by the Papermakers.
Pearson picks up her second. Now 17 fouls, something to keep in mind with 6:23 remaining in the opening half. So no matter what, Hortonville shooting free throws the rest of the way. And now McGlone, she's got 9, looking to make it 10 and to make it a 17-point lead for the Polar Bears.
8-3 run that was previously for Kimberly.
And McGlone 2 of 2 from the line. 32-15, Hortonville with the lead as we look at our Verlo Mattress Factory scoreboard. Good ball movement by the Papermakers as Schreiber swings it to Murray. Nice little ball fake. And a good job by Murray using the glass. Offensive foul.
Oh, my.
So let's see what's. Wow.
I was going to say, Brad, Kimberly's doing a good job of chipping away at that lead. And if they get it within 10 by halftime, I think that is a victory for them. The way this started, this game anyway.
Now, they have 32-17 on the scoreboard. Now they took it off.
32-15, yeah.
Okay.
Brett, always Johnny on the spot.
Oh, Pepler breaking down the defense. Scoop shot. Look at McGlone. Offensive rebound. Got to get a body on McGlone. She's got 12, and now a 19-point lead again for the Polar Bears.
That's just tough. And look at McGlone with those long arms.
Boy, quickly down.
Brett, 11 turnovers for Kimberly.
Pepler thought about it. Using that ball screen as McGlone now swings it back to the top, and Polar Bears going to try to set things up again, work for a good shot as McGlone with the basketball. UW Milwaukee recruit having a big first half. Same with her future Panthers teammate, Cammie Pepler, now with the basketball.
Oh, they're calling a carry on Pepler, Brett. Well, Hortonville has 6 turnovers too, Brett. It hasn't been a clean game for them. And a lot of that came actually within the last 5 or 6 minutes. 4:56 left here in the first half, 34-15 lead for Hortonville. Lead is 19 points.
Boy, again, it looked like it was wide open underneath to Schmidt, but the Hortonville defense getting their hands on it. McGlone, another rebound, and another offensive rebound. This time it was Aaliyah Schmidt, Ricardo. Her second bucket and a 21-point lead for Hortonville.
What number was that again?
Aaliyah Schmidt.
Oh, 3, yes.
Grace Kiefer now with a 3. Kiefer number 23 for the Papermakers.
Trying to keep stats in a running game score, both of us, Brett.
Hey, how do we do it, right?
I know.
There's another turnover by the Polar Bears. So, again, Papermakers with 4 minutes to play, trying to make it within striking distance in what's been all Hortonville this first half. Look at that. Kiefer back-to-back threes. And that's how you can make up a deficit in a hurry.
I told you, Brett, if they can get it within 10 points or even less by the end of the first half, that is a win for Kimberly.
Well, it was a 21-point lead just a few moments ago. Grace Kiefer, a couple triples, and it's down to 15.
Number 40, Caleb Benke.
Kiefer, a 5'7" sophomore guard. Sharp shooting guard for the Papermakers.
Number Hortonville, number 11, Morgan Jensema.
3:43 left here in the first half. 36-21 lead for Hortonville on your Burlington scoreboard here at Jack Whippick Court.
Yeah, the legendary Jack Whippick. Good to see this gym filled up, and great to see the fact that there are no FBA boys games, and I think Lexi Day was, she was fouled on that three. Kimberly and Hortonville boys have a big game tomorrow night over in Hortonville.
Big game.
So that's the 19th foul, but 3 free throws coming up for Day. She's got 5 now on the night with that made free throw.
Quartz on our first 2. 1 more remaining for Day. Again, a big game for her the first time these two teams met. 14 points.
Let me say this, 8 of 8 first half free throw shooting for the Polar Bears. How about that?
You love it, Brett.
I do. Little mid-ranger, no good. That was Courtney Pearson. And Kiefer with the steal. Schreiber now kicks it back out to Kiefer. And Kiefer blocked by McGlone. Papermakers still have it, though. Down 18 here with 3 minutes to play. Oh, good steal by Pepler. She got in front, fronted Schreiber in the post. Day, bounce pass inside.
Everything's going for him.
It is. How about that? Morgan Jensema.
Everything's going their way, Brett.
Getting the bounces.
20-point lead. And a travel's called on Schreiber. 14 first half turnovers, Brett.
Wow, you look at it, Hortonville, 41 first half points. They made it look easy. I mean, they have made this efficient. We don't have their shooting totals, but got to be well over 50% as a team.
Awesome display by the Polar Bears. And they haven't played, clean, Brett. They do have, again, 8 turnovers.
Oh, that's a tough
Pepler
fall.
goes down, and she took a heck of a spill.
Easy now.
Sorry about that. I meant heck.
So that fouls on Drought. More importantly, I guess, for the Polar Bears, Pepler's get 2 free throws because that's the 10th team foul now on the Papermaker. So double bonus coming.
Brett, you're going to have to get me a bar of soap.
Yes.
Put in my mouth like Ralphie.
So see, I jinxed the free throw shooting. As Pepler misses the first miss of the night from the stripe. Hortonville 8 of 9, now 9 of 10. And this ties the largest lead of the game for the Polar Bears. 13 points for Pepler.
They're going to call. And, Brett, that was pretty legit. That was an offensive foul, push off by Kilpatrick. Another turnover, Brett, for Kimberly, 15.
Well, you saw Pepler fired up on that call, too.
Pepler. Draheim.
Good bounce pass
inside
to McGlone. Boy, it's pretty good defense by number 40, Kayla Benke. Tough task, but another opportunity, a second chance point. Who's that? That's number 12, Morgan Draheim. with the triple, Ricardo.
This is
45 first half points.
what a tough task for Kimberly. I mean, they have, well, first off, they have way too many turnovers. That's the first thing I'm sure Cullen will talk about. But
how about offensive rebounds?
Yeah, offensive rebounding. They're getting absolutely dominated.
I was just thinking, I know you had Macy McGlone on an earlier roundtable show when we were getting ready for the girls' basketball season, but it might be time to bring in that whole Hortonville team.
Possibly. I want to wait maybe until a little bit later in the playoffs. Ball goes out of bounds, stays with Kimberly. Brett, unofficially now, and I'm sure I must have missed one or two, I have 14-2 in the rebounding.
Kimberly has 2 rebounds?
Yes, that's what I have.
Total rebounds.
Total rebounds. 15 now for Hortonville. And that's a travel. And a turnover. Again, Hortonville has 9 turnovers. They're not playing clean either, Brett. And some of those are unforced. I'm sure that Coach Ratka would like to see her players play at an even more efficient level, Brett. But I guess when you're up by 24.
That's hard to argue.
Hard to argue.
Yeah, that's maybe the one nitpick is.
And another turnover for Kimberly.
Lexi Day from 3. And look at McGlone again, Ricardo, another offensive rebound. Second chance points. Huge in this game for the Polar Bears. Up 26. They're up 47-21 as we look at our Verlo Mattress Factory scoreboard. This is not what I expected tonight.
No, is it safe to say that Hortonville's an ascending team still?
Holy
my goodness.
Smokes.
And they're going to call a foul. I think that's going to be on Draheim.
That'll be the 6th team foul. And, Draheim picks up her first.
Returning for Kimberly, number 30, Marissa Murray.
14 points for McGlone, and a number of those buckets on offensive rebounds and putbacks. So with 15 seconds to play, Kimberly going to hold for one last shot here and try to regroup in halftime. Wow. And Schreiber will go to the line because that will be the 17th foul now against the Polar Bears.
Hortonville in their opposing road black uniforms. I like them a lot, actually. Kimberly in their home white with the red trim.
Schreiber good on the first. She's got 7. Schreiber, and that's going to stay with the paper makers with 2.1 seconds to play. So let's see kind of a little inbound play Kimberly can run here and at least have a little something to feel good about at halftime. But all Polar Bears in this one here is Marissa Murray. No, that's knocked away by McGlone. Good defense by McGlone, Ricardo, and that's how the first half comes to a close. Highly, highly impressive performance by the top-ranked Hortonville Polar Bears.
Gonna update my Twitter account. You can find me at PC Ricardo. Don't forget about Brett at PC Bretzy and Rosie at Metal Rosie.
Well, it's halftime here at Jack Whippick Court. We're at Kimberly High School, and a look at our Verlo Mattress Factory scoreboard shows the Polar Bears leading the Papermakers in this week's Varsity Game of the Week Prep Basketball live stream. Thanks again to our sponsor, Verlo Mattress Factory of Appleton, Green Bay, Oshkosh, Fond du Lac, and Sturgeon Bay. Their craftsmen manufacture your bed on site with unmatched quality and customer service. Stop in today for their mismatch sale, Ricardo, and save up to $650 on a mattress set purchase while supplies last. Also, Verlo Mattress Factory offers free delivery and setup with set purchases and 0% financing for up to 60 months with approved credit. And they can make custom mattresses to fit boats, RVs, semi-trucks, antique beds, and more.
Northeastern boys basketball, we have a score here, Brett. Well, I guess from a little bit a while ago, Clintonville 26. Clintonville, what? With 8:30 remaining in the first half, Brett. Clintonville 26, Wrightstown 8.
I'm not surprised. I'll tell you in a second.
Why
as
are
I
you not
add up.
surprised?
I'll tell you in a second.
You're telling me you're not a little bit surprised. 26-8.
I guess I should I guess that is surprising, but let me tell you, Clintonville isn't it? You talk about ascending program. They are getting better. I saw it last year firsthand because my son, my youngest, played on one of the Northeastern Conference teams and actually beat my son's team over in Clintonville, and they played Freedom really tough last year. They played Wrightstown tough. They gave them some battles. And Clintonville is actually on the upper echelon of the Northeastern. Obviously, it's Wrightstown and Freedom are the clear front runners, but then Clintonville was next, so they've got some things going. Aiden Polzine, one of the top scorers in the league.
Brett, could it be a little bit of varsity roundtable jinx?
Maybe.
I hope not. Because that's one of the many digital offerings, Brett, that we do for the Post Crescent. Let me talk about that. Nice segue in there, Brett. Every Wednesday at 7 o'clock is the Varsity Roundtable Show, the only online high school sports talk show in the state. This past Wednesday, or actually I should say yesterday, we had Wrightstown's Tyler Cruz, Jeremy Van Zeelen, undefeated Wrightstown. Happy to have the guys on board, and the whole team came. That was even more fun. So every Wednesday you'll see other top teams, other top players from around the area. Again, the only high school sports talk show in the state. On Thursdays, as we did earlier today, we do the R&B Show podcast. Please subscribe. The only online high school podcast dedicated to the high school sports genre, hey, in the Fox Valley. So find it on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play.
I'm thinking we need to move the R&B show back to Wednesdays.
I think we do too.
I think it's we're pushing it too close to the end of the week. There's too much stuff going on that I just think it'll be better on Wednesdays.
Well, it looks like we'll do that.
We'll talk about it.
Brett has so decreed.
No, it's up to you. It's up to you. So we're actually having a production discussion online, live right now, so everybody can listen to us. Yeah, and you can obviously our Clubhouse Live season is done now that the Packers have finished. The NFL season is all done, but you can always watch past episodes of Clubhouse Live this past season with Green Bay Packers running back Aaron Jones and all of us, of course. You can find that on clubhouselive.com, and if you're bored, give a couple views to our fun Clubhouse Live, the award-winning Clubhouse Live show. So there's always good stuff, and then that leads me. Next week we have 2 Varsity Game of the Week live streams. So I call them Games of the Week? Now with Clubhouse being done, we can expand and do as many games as we can fit in, but we'll be at Ryan Einerson Fieldhouse, and we're having a little camera issues there. There we go. Oh, it's kind of flickering back and forth, but I'll let our tech guy handle that. Anyway, we got a fun one next Tuesday at Ryan Einerson Fieldhouse as the 7th-ranked Rockets take on Stevens Point. Spash! That's a non-conference game. Actually, Spash having a really nice season in the Wisconsin Valley. That's one of our USA Today Network Wisconsin Central schools, so chance to feature one of the Central teams. Live coverage will tip off next Tuesday at approximately 7 o'clock, and then we'll be at Torchy Clark Gym next Friday night for another boys game. This is a big Bay Conference matchup between the Seymour Thunder and the Xavier Hawks, and if things stay the way that I think they will, the Hawks would have a chance to even themselves in the Bay Conference race, or the Thunder would have a chance to take command. Seymour losing
to New London
the other night.
A little bit of a shock.
Looking forward to a couple good boys games and checking out a couple of the historic gymnasiums again. We were at Ryan Einerson Fieldhouse earlier this season, but first chance to see Xavier, which I see is having another nice season under Matt Klarner. So looking forward to that. A whole bunch of good stuff coming up.
Let me tell you something. I'm watching these youth players play here for Kimberly. A lot of traveling going on, Rosie. A lot of traveling. Got to work on that, ladies.
Hey, by the way, I want to bring this back to the office. They have this great write-up, 50 years of memories. The FVA celebrating its 50th season. It goes through all the decades. Written by Our friend Jim Strick, communications manager with the Neenah Joint School District, a Kimberly High School graduate.
Oh, is that inside our thing here?
No, I just picked it up at the table, but it really goes down the decades. Lists all the state titles that have been won by schools as FBA members, and a lot of good stuff, something to see. But check this out. And I was reading this. With Kimberly's boys volleyball title this past fall, the FBA has won at least one state title in 45 of its 50 seasons in existence. It is no wonder why it's considered one of the top leagues in the state of Wisconsin.
Absolutely, Brett. You know, we've been trumpeting its success for the last, ever since we've been here. And that's real nice. This will be a nice resource, Brett, because I know we want to do some things with this FBA thing. And looks like they've done a great job. I'll have to talk to Jim Strick maybe a little bit more about this. But fantastic. And it shows, again, every school and what they've won.
Yeah. Well, Menasha, 0 FBA titles, but they've got the Bay Conference football championship.
So very impressive.
But yeah, that's good stuff. We'll bring it back to the office and let Mike Sherry take a look at this as well. But really highlights a lot of the good stuff from the 1970s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and the 2010s. But I just was floored when I heard 45 of the 50 years that they've been in existence, they've won state championships.
Hey, give it up to Jim Strick for tracking down all that info. Hey, Brett, if you don't mind, I'm gonna step out for a second here.
Hey, by the way, our photojournalist is here, Dan Powers, and you be sure to check out Dan's photo gallery later tonight on postcrescent.com. Dan and Bill Glasheen, two of the best in the business. And there he is. He's on camera. There he is. He's on camera using his own camera. How about that? So Dan Powers, look for his photo gallery later tonight, and to give him a follow at Power, POWRPICS. Great photographer, and same with our other colleague, Bill Glasheen. We're lucky to have those guys on staff. A chance to run down the first half scoring before the second half gets underway here at Kimberly High School for the Papermakers. Drought with 2, Schmidt with 3, Kiefer with 6, Kilpatrick 4, and Shriver with a team-high 7 points for the Polar Bears. Schmidt with 4, Day with 7, Jenzema with 2, Draheim with 7, McGlone with a game-high 14 points, and Pepler with 13. Again, 47-22, the Polar Bear lead as we look at our Burlow Mattress Factory scoreboard. I don't know, Ricardo, if you're Troy Cullen, you're down 25. I don't want to say the game's over, but what do you tell the girls?
First off, don't look at the scoreboard.
Yeah, start over.
Yeah, kind of start over. If you get a nice run and then kind of build from there, nothing is out of reach. But it's going to take a superb effort from Kimberly, and let's be honest, it's going to take quite the collapse by Hortonville, Brett. But you never know. Kimberly's a team that made the state last year. They know how to win. They have outstanding athletes up and down the roster. It's a matter of executing, and I think the number one thing, they got to cut down on just turnovers, but you can't have the turnovers like they did in the first half.
Turnovers somehow get a body on Mason McGlone because they're tough enough when they're getting their shots in their regular offense, but then when all of a sudden you're giving up those second chance opportunities, that is tough stuff if you're trying to make a comeback.
Brett, I got to give a shout out to one of the band leaders wearing a Roquan Smith Bears jersey.
No.
Fantastic stuff.
No, it's terrible.
That is amazing. Can you get it on her, Rosie? There you go, my friend. She's my new best friend. Let me tell you, bear down, right, Rosie? As we're about ready to start the second half here. Hortonville. Brett, I felt very confident giving him that first place vote, even when Beaver Dam was getting most of the first place votes. Now I feel very, very comfortable giving them that first place vote.
No doubt about it. Looking every bit the contender in Division II. And I've got the sectional pairings and all that good stuff here. We'll get to that here later in the second half as we are underway. And look at that nice pass from Lyric Johnson to Macy McGlone, staying active, and a good start for the Polar Bears here if you're Celeste Radka, because what you don't want, and I'm sure her message is, don't give in, don't let up. And a good take, Ricardo, by number 10, Brooke Ellistad, the Oshkosh North former standout there with the Spartans, now here at Kimberly.
Yeah, part of that sensational softball team last year, Brett. They won the state title with Sydney Supley. Now at Northwestern.
Exactly. She is a Wildcat.
49-23 as Elstad now converts on her second.
Supley recognized as our Softball Player of the Year as part of our Wisconsin Prep Sports Award show. We're doing it again.
Doing it again.
May 1st, Lambeau Field Atrium. We've already revealed our fall nominees, and I'm going to have to start chasing some RSVPs down, but we'll have winter nominees coming. As tough turnaround by, boy, McGlone. She's a load underneath. She's got 18 points already and 2 quick buckets here in the second half. But we'll get our fall nominees squared away after the high school basketball season wraps up, and then it's a quick turnaround to get our spring and premier nominees. But how about our guest speaker this year, TJ Watt? How about that? Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker. There's a turnover, and of course the former Badgers star. He was up for NFL Defensive Player of the Year honors. Didn't get it.
Was he Rookie Defensive Player of the Year, or did they announce that, or Rookie of the Year? I don't even know how that went.
Well, this was his third year.
TJ Watt?
Yeah.
Oh,
Watt.
My apologies. I had a blank look on my face right now.
Mackenzie Drought.
Yeah, I remember he was a 2017 NFL draft. So
that's right. The Packers took Kevin King instead of him. That is right. Now I remember.
As Pepler hits on both, and almost up to a 30-point advantage now as we look at our Verlo Mattress Factory scoreboard. So Polar Bears coming off fast again here in the second half. But yeah, we're very excited to have TJ Watt. He had a chance to be at Lambeau Field, but we're going to bring him there anyway.
Yes.
Murray from 3-point range.
And I'm sure that'll be one of the questions that you ask him, Brett.
Hey, didn't you think that you might be here? Wow, transition basketball. Look at this, Ricardo. 31-point lead. Are you kidding me? I think you and I are going to be talking about a lot of other stuff other than this game here.
The way it's going, I mean, one of the things was Kimberly had to somehow find a way to slow down McGlone. McGlone looks even more potent than she did in the first half.
Well, they're getting out on the run and really stressing that Kimberly defense, getting buckets in transition. They've just been looking good top to bottom as McGlone, again, sealing off her defender. Tough shot off the glass, but another rebound offensively and a second chance opportunity. 3, good. Ricardo, Morgan Draheim.
They really can hurt you in so many different ways, Brett. Elstad blocked.
Is that Pepler?
Possession will stay with Kimberly.
Well, you can see they are fired up still, and you can tell that was the point of emphasis for Celeste Radka at halftime, as I said just a little while ago. Don't ease up, don't give in, put them away. And right now, Hortonville's doing just that, up 32 points, 58-26, with 15:30 still to play. What is the running clock? Is that a 40-point lead? I believe there's a...
Is there? I didn't even know there was one.
I thought the deficit had to be 40 points, and there's a running clock in high school basketball.
I can't even believe that, given these two teams. I'm talking about the game situation here, Brett. Turnover by Hortonville. Now there's a turnover by Kimberly. Dueling turnovers.
But folks, if you're interested in the Wisconsin Prep Sports Award show, just type that in Google or whatever search engine you use, and you'll see some articles that have popped up. Also, it's on online as well, postcrescent.com. But it has our website information if you want to get tickets. Tickets cost $18 for general admission. It's going to be another fun night. Looking forward to it.
I know I am as well, Brett, and I know you play a central figure in putting that all together along with Mike Sherry.
Yeah, we all do. We all work hard at it.
You two especially, though, are the brains behind your pinky in the brain.
Well, Kelly Weber, too, as well. Really works hard, and it's a group effort, and I'm just glad that we can put out another show.
You guys are the two straws that stir the drink, or the two umbrellas in the drink.
Yeah, there you go. Ooh, reverse high off the backboard.
I thought that was over the backboard though, Brett.
That was Aaliyah Schmidt. Schreiber, wow. There is just Kimberly's so disjointed right now.
Number 25, Megan Werner. Number 23, Kimmy Pepler. Number 4, Lexi Day.
58-26, Polar Bears with the lead. Well, I guess we could. Why don't we talk about I got the sectional groupings right now. We don't have the brackets up, but we were wondering about Beaver Dam and Hortonville. They're on opposite sides.
Okay. Very fortuitous if you're a D2 basketball fan.
So you're looking at Hortonville. I don't know who in the sectional is really going to give them a battle.
If I could look at that, Brett, I can tell you any team that I might have voted for. I think Onalaska is the only one that pops out so far.
And again, you never know.
No.
You never know.
Onalaska is the only one that I even remember voting for from that part of the sectional.
But correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't Beaver Dam in Hortonville sectional not all that long ago? Didn't they meet in a sectional semifinal or final?
That I can't remember. I know Seymour played them.
It wouldn't be that far-fetched. That Beaver Dam isn't that far away from the valley, so.
It's not that far away.
No,
it's
not
a
at
little
all.
bit outside of Fond du Lac.
Yeah. Off the glass. Boy, this helter-skelter type stuff. Murray with the shot. No good. Lexi Day with the rebound. And stolen. Good hands by Drought. And she gets that one to fall.
58-28. Hortonville with a 30-point lead. 13:20 left here in the second half on your Verlo Mattress scoreboard.
Papermakers, Ricardo, even down 30, really playing hard still. As there's a deep three, short. That was Lexi Day on the miss. Maggie Werner picks up her first personal. Looking at team fouls, 2 for Hortonville, 1 for Kimberly. 58-28, the Polar Bears with the lead as we look at our Verlo Mattress Factory scoreboard. Well, we can look at Division I as well. And looking at in Kimberly's sectional, of course, there's the Beast right up there on near the top.
Is Appleton East in? No, I think Appleton East
Appleton
is on
East goes to the other side, so I don't know if you want to peruse that and see if there's anybody that might give East.
Oh, plenty of them, because a lot of the Milwaukee area teams. Well, Divine Savior, Germantown. Those might be the big ones.
And of course, you're looking at Kimberly.
Kimberly Bayport. Kimberly Bayport, in my opinion, are the two best teams in this sectional. I don't think it's even close, to tell you the truth.
So that could be a sectional final showdown. We'll see. There's Pepler now with the basketball, but a lot of ball to be played, and we're excited that we'll be able to bring you live stream coverage of regional and sectional basketball. I was talking to Rosie a little bit earlier this week that maybe we can go back. We didn't do it last year, but go back to the sectional final girls on that Saturday in the afternoon, and then
double
dip, and then go and do a boys regional final that night.
Little double dip.
Yeah, I know Rosie. The highlight of that is usually because he can get a lunch.
Nothing wrong with that, right, Rosie, my friend?
We used to do that. We would go to Green Bay Preble a couple years in a row and eat at Gipper's on the east side of Green Bay.
Yeah, I think I joined you for one of those.
Yeah, and then we would hurry up and hustle our way back to wherever we thought was a good boys regional to check out. So I think that might be on the game plan as well. Too many turnovers on both sides, getting real sloppy with a 30-point lead.
Brett, I wish I could join you, but I'm going to be wrestling, boy.
For some reason, I thought sometimes though that day you might be available.
The only time that was available, I think, was when it was team wrestling, and I didn't have to cover all the teams.
Okay.
Now I do, though.
Yeah.
So.
Well, forget it then. It'd just be me and Rosie.
Because boys hockey and girls hockey is also that same weekend. So actually, I would figure that me and a certain Mike Sherry would be difficult, or I should be busy that week because there's always a bunch of hockey teams.
Speaking of hockey, we did have a request after the Seymour West Appear game. couple weeks ago, a parent, I believe from the West of Pierside, asked me if we'd ever consider live streaming hockey games.
We consider it. I don't know if you want.
We'd probably have to get a hockey
yes,
expert.
Exactly.
But I'm sure we could find somebody that could help us out. Might be interesting at some point. The problem is I don't know if how like rinks or ice rinks are set up as far as live streaming games. As Lexi Day can't get that one, but an offensive rebound again. So yeah, I can't. If you go to the Appleton Family Ice Center or scoop shot by Pepler. Pepler was 17 on the night. Yeah, where do you set up? Because you'd be really in the crowd. We could set up in the penalty box.
Gets kind of cold there too, if I remember right.
Actually, I always enjoyed covering high school hockey.
That's because you were Stevens Point boy.
Expecting any hockey teams to go to state?
Yeah, I think we always have a couple. I don't know about the girls so much. Mike Sherry would know more than I would. But, one of our teams is usually around there. Like Nina Hortonville-Menasha probably has a good shot. A Central Group team has a shot, Brett. As we have a foul now on Hortonville.
Hortonville foul number 13, Macy Drought, first personal, fourth team foul.
60-28 is the
I'll tell you
advantage.
what, Brett, team wrestling,
yeah,
we're going to have a bunch of teams there.
Number 21, Kate Koch.
Usually we have Stratford, a couple of the Central teams. Kaukauna usually busts through. Bayport has on occasion. Wrightstown right now is looking like a beast in D2.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned in the R&B show that it's going to be kind of a Wrightstown article coming up because obviously the boys and girls are doing fantastic stuff on the hardwood, and then the wrestling team looks really good too.
And I talked to Coach Hayes from the boys team, and I'm going to talk to, is it Craig Hayes, the AD, Brett, because
Craig Hayes,
yeah, just to talk about them in totality. And I got the verbatim. I'm gonna hopefully got a hold of him tomorrow morning.
But as you mentioned, Wrightstown boys in a battle with Clintonville tonight.
I will have to see if there's an update on that.
One of the things too, to go back on that Clintonville thought, one of the things that makes them such a tough team to face now is that they really defend hard and they slow it down. At least that's how it was last year. So when you got down, it's tough to come back. They really played like a Dick Bennett type style a game. As there's a three. Courtney Pearson, her first bucket of the night.
McGlone able to get it out.
So you mentioned that the deficit by Wrightstown. Wouldn't be surprised to see Clintonville hold on just because they grind out possessions. They don't rush things. Again, they play really sound defense. Ooh. Wow. Morgan Draheim for the Polar Bears. Third triple of the night.
And as we have a break in action here, hey, Brett, hey, Samantha, I'm sorry, Samantha, am I saying your name right? Bryla. She says she's watching the Bears from Madison. Thanks for streaming.
You betcha.
And she says, P.S. look up Aaliyah Schmidt's dog's Instagram at Huxley Schmidt. Huxley, that's a good name for a dog there. But, yeah, thank you, Samantha. Hopefully I said your name correct.
Well, I know we had a tweet from, was it Badger Banker wanting us to dissect why the Bears didn't take Patrick Mahomes, Ricardo.
Do I really need to dissect that? That's been that has been argued ad nauseum for a couple of years now.
I think he's just kind of rubbing it in a little bit. Kate Karch looking for her first points of the night. Good on that. Ricardo, a 33-point lead for the Polar Bears with 8:46 to play.
Shocking.
Against Kimberly, the sixth-ranked team in Division I. Be sure to check out Ricardo's recap later on postcrescent.com. And, hey, be sure to subscribe to any of our USA Today Network Wisconsin websites. Would you please? Really pushing our digital subscriptions. You get a lot of good bang for your buck, as they say. Nice move to the basket. Just couldn't make it. That was Morgan Jensema. Kimberly with the basketball.
Well, Brett, with 2:30 left in the second half, Clintonville 61, Wrightstown 53.
That's looking good for the Truckers, isn't it?
Another foul. That's by Karch.
Again, not stunning, but still a surprising result. But I just know that Kimberly or that Clintonville team, as Kate Karch fouls out. Clintonville's got some good things going. There's kind of revitalizing the Truckers program, which is good to see for the good folks over there in Clintonville. I always enjoyed making that trip. And Freedom is thinking, thank you, Clintonville, because the Irish, I think, play Little Chute tonight. Little Chute a little down this year's Pepler again. So Freedom would climb within, I think, a game, assuming Freedom wins.
This game's at Clintonville, by the way, because I did talk to Hayes before he left on the bus.
You jinxed him. Marissa Murray, good shot off the glass. And Murray with 4 points.
That ball stays with Hortonville as dribbles off of Schmidt's leg, but I think was touched by a Kimberly player.
You know, looking at Macy McGlone, what does she have right now? 22 points, so she has reached double figures in scoring now in every game this season. Still, her high season high, 28-point effort. That was in a 71-50 win over Kakon on December 10th. She has scored at least 20 points and grabbed at least 10 rebounds in 7 games so far.
Wow.
Top rebounding game is 18, which she tallied in a 78-54 victory over Nina on November 25th. Hortonville riding a 17-game winning streak, looking to make it 18th straight. The only loss, again, Ricardo, you mentioned it, as Mackenzie Drought scores that bucket, was that season opener against Bayport, and that was a 51-46 setback against the top-ranked Bayport Pirates, defending D1 state champs. Kimberly, a 5-game winning streak coming into this one after they had lost back-to-back to Hortonville and Appleton East a little bit earlier. 13 of 15, Kimberly has won coming into this one as well. 30-point advantage for the Polar Bears as, again, we take another look at our Verlo Mattress Factory scoreboard.
Even though this is a tough, will be a tough loss for Kimberly, Brett, really, again, when you looked at that sectional list, the only team that kind of jumped out at you was Bayport. So lick the wounds, come back, tighten things up, and try to, prepare for the postseason and all that kind of stuff. Because I think the conference race is conference championship is out of the realm of possibility now.
Well, again, as we mentioned, you look at the conference race. Hortonville about to improve to 15-0 on the year. Kimberly's going to fall to 11-4. So Kimberly out of the race again with 3 games remaining. Was wondering about Appleton East. I think they're in action tonight. Let me just check, see what the FBA schedule is. I know there's a couple games tomorrow. Appleton East at Fond du Lac tonight. So Fondy down this year. You like East chances as well. So the Patriots, as McGlone fouled, will still have a shot. Is outside shot as it is, but Hortonville already having beaten the Patriots twice.
And Hortonville's already beaten the top 2 teams right behind them already this season. So they're going to sweep Appleton East or Kimberly with the win here, and they've already swept Appleton East. I don't see them losing to one of the lower-rung teams, Brett, certainly not 3 in a row.
McGlone good on the first. The UW Milwaukee recruit is 5 of 5 from the stripe and now has 23 points on the evening. Do you have how many rebounds she has?
McGlone, let's see, I can count them up. She actually hasn't had 2. Well, actually, she has 2, and then I can check in the first half as she converts on her second free throw.
Because if she's got at least 10 rebounds, that will make 8 games in which he's had.
30 seconds.
I have 6.
Okay, so she has scored at least 20 points in 8 games so far, and at least 10 rebounds in 7 games. And it looks like Kimberly calling another timeout here. 5:56 still to play. 69-37. The top-ranked Polar Bears dismantling Kimberly tonight.
6-9-1-6. Collect your winnings at the scorers table.
Trying to see some of these updated scores here, Brett, so I can pass along to everyone. Again, thank you for everyone checking into tonight's game. As Kimberly down 32 points, 5:45 and counting left in the second half.
Nice pass. How about the freshmen working together? Drought to Dunaway.
Kyla Dunaway.
Brett, let me tell you, this thing's the game started off ominously. What'd you say for Kimberly? They were down 11-0 at one point. And it never really got any better as McGlone fighting. Look at her fight underneath, and there's going to be
3 seconds.
3-second rule. But I would say a lot of that had to do with Hortonville. Their defense is underrated. We all know about McGlone and Pepler and the scoring prowess that they have, but their defense is very, very good, and Coach Radka has them playing at a high level.
Emma Kilpatrick, her first three-pointer of the night. And Emma has 7 points now.
Lurk Johnson to Draheim. And they have very good role. I don't even want to call them role players. I think because Pepler and McGlone are, Division I players, that the other girls are very fine players. They just kind of get overlooked a little bit. I won't even call them role players as Draheim rattles in and out on that three-point attempt. As Schreiber with the rebound, but they know how to complement those two stars, I guess I could say. And I know from talking with Coach Radka that they have no problem turning to Draheim if she's open and having her shoot a majority of the threes. We saw Lexi Day, the first meeting, have a nice game, Brett, and very balanced team, if I can say that, even with two stars like Pepler and McGlone.
Schreiber misses the front end of the one-and-one. Hortonville just picked up its 7th team foul, and right down the lane was Draheim with the miss, but Lexi Day saves it in another possession coming for the Polar Bears. Yeah, Ricardo, I agree. It's a good great balance and depth. But the thing that I'm so impressed with, they just keep coming at you and coming at you and coming at you. They just don't ease up, and they get that rebound, that defensive rebound. They're on the run. Really do a good job of controlling the glass on both sides. As Drought finds Dunaway. Back to Schreiber, and the good ball movement by the Papermakers as Marissa Murray finishes off with her first three. She's got 7 points all in this half.
Murray's kind of a player that they need a more consistent three-point shooting from, especially in the first half, because I know last year she was a sharpshooter for them. As Lyric Johnson up with the left hand.
Her first points of the night. Yeah, this Kimberly team that made it to state last year. Hortonville, how many years in a row have they been to state? 3 straight seasons, I believe?
Yes. I want to say each time Beaver Dam ousted them.
Every season that Coach Ratka has been in charge is Drought. There's another rebound for McGlone.
Yeah, and Hortonville, the Shea Frederick years, I know they went twice. And then last year again.
8th team foul against the Polar Bears. Let's see who's, I didn't see who's going to be shooting those bonus throws. Looks like Maddie Schreiber back to the stripe.
Schreiber will be shooting for Kimberly. Converts on our first. How many points does Schreiber have?
8.
UWGB
That's
recruit.
her first point of the second half. And makes the second. So 2 points now on a pair of free throws in this half. 9 on the night for the future Phoenix. Going to play for Kevin Borseth.
Kevin Borseth, good man.
Yeah, good character.
And
Leah Schmidt with the bucket.
have I told you my Borseth
Yes.
story with him? Being kicked off the
press row.
press row at his own.
Who kicked him out?
It was a certain WIA executive director, not executive director, associate director. I don't want to name names.
Is that person still with the
No,
WIA?
that
Okay.
person is not with the WIA anymore. But it was startling to see that. And the UW Green Bay coach, talk about not fostering good relations with your. I mean, Brett, he was sitting there, and I'll be honest, he was sitting there next to me where we're talking at length, talking about the players. A certain player at the time, I think I was asking him who at the time was a freshman player, Frankie Wirtz of Kimberly.
Who's there still, I believe.
Yeah, still there. And we were speaking. Nice conversation, and he was basically told to leave the press area. And I remember him looking at me and say, Ricardo, they're kicking me off the press row. I said, sorry, coach. I wanted to give him my press credential. But I thought that was a poor showing by the WIA in that way. She knew, oops, that WIA person knew full well who that was. So, yeah, it was
one of the
not
most successful.
not a
women's
good
basketball
look by the
coaches in
WIA. Not a good look. I understand that
history of
technically he
Wisconsin.
did not have a pass. She could have walked 20 feet over to where they had extra passes and give him one, let him sit there.
Kevin Borseth. Let him
It's
sit
Kevin
there.
Borseth, the best women's team, D1 team in the state.
Yeah.
I thought that will always be seared into my
But
memory.
to his credit, he did
not
make
throw
a
a fit.
stink.
He's
Yep.
not a big timer. He did not pull rank. He just said, okay.
He should have. He should have said, "Do you know who I am?"
Exactly, Brett.
Kevin Borseth.
Can you imagine that happening to Barry Alvarez or somebody sitting on press row? I'm just saying he's not the media
Yeah.
at the Kohl Center.
He's a good guy, Kevin. I've had a couple times, a couple stories that I've worked on way back when now where every time I've asked to speak to him, he was great. Gives me a call right back. And always a good quote.
I'll just never forget the line. Ricardo, they're kicking me off press row. I'm like, sorry, coach.
Yeah, he's just a regular down-to-earth guy, and I'm glad he came back. You know, he had that stint at University of Michigan in the Big Ten, and he done a whale of a job with the Green Bay program.
Yeah, so
over
much respect for
decades.
Coach Borseth. What he has done with the program is incredible.
Wow. Leah Schmidt with a transition bucket. I think that's timeout just to get players in the game.
Hey, Brittany Schmidt. She's saying, thanks for streaming, watching from Green Bay. Just the best Schmidt athlete giving you a shout out. This Hortonville versus Kimberly game has Leah Schmidt niece-like. And they show the cat. Oh, doesn't want to see the loss.
I'm a dog
no,
guy.
A win, I should say. She's a little bored, I guess is what she's saying.
I'm a dog guy.
Brittany, I will retweet that. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate everyone watching tonight. Hopefully we'll be able to do a couple more Hortonville games, Brett.
You never
that's
know.
on Brett, though. Just letting you know that's on Brett.
Hey, I think it's a group effort, and I always ask for opinions. It's like putting a puzzle together. You want to try to showcase as many teams out there as possible.
All I know is that I've been asking for an Amro-Winnicott China Bowl game.
No.
And you say no.
Just said it again.
But, how many Spash games will we do, Rosie?
Well, I can tell you this. We aren't going to do Spash football anytime soon because that program is struggling. But Spash basketball, again, we'll do the Panthers at Neenah. I think that's a good matchup. Hey, if we can, Stevens Point's our biggest central school in our market. So if you get a chance to able to get them in here and give the central folks a little attention, that's a good thing too.
Possibly. They did beat DC Everest, which is the top team in the Wisconsin
Yeah.
Valley.
Well, that's one of your teams in your rankings, the Evergreens.
They just can't seem to beat anybody else with regularity, Brett.
Who's that?
Stevens Point.
Well, I think they're at 10-6, something like that. So we'll see. We've only done one Neenah game too. We got to check out the Rockets' state rank with Max Klesma. These final seconds come off the clock in what has been an all Hortonville game from start to finish. Congratulations to the Polar Bears. They are 75-49 victors over the Papermakers. And again, give Ricardo a follow at PC Ricardo. Give me a follow at PC Brettsy. But Ricardo right now updating the final there on his Twitter account. And before he takes off, we'll get his thoughts on both teams and maybe what's to come for both squads as we get close to tournament play.
Absolutely. Well, let me look at both teams. First off, Kimberly. I think this is just a bad matchup for – listen, Hortonville's a bad matchup for a lot of teams. But specifically for Kimberly, for some reason this year, this is just a bad matchup for them. I have full confidence that this Kimberly team is somehow going to reach the sectionals or the sectional final. They're going to run into Bayport sometime. I think they're a good enough team. I always rank them in the top 10. I will continue to do so. It's just for some reason this Hortonville team, just a bad matchup for them. You could look at McGlone, you could look at Pepler, maybe the whole up and down the roster, maybe just too strong. But I think Kimberly will be there at the end when we're talking about postseason teams. Brett, I'm certain they'll be one of the final, 8 teams probably playing in the state in D1. You look over there at Hortonville, though, and in D2, I don't see why anyway can't pick them to be in that state title game. I'm not saying they're going to win the state title. I'm just saying that they can make it to the state championship game. Will that be against Beaver Dam? Can they, kind of live up to the expectations? I don't know. But all I know is that they've been to state the last 3 times. It's no stranger to them. They know it. It's their second home, essentially. Now can they get that win and get to the state title game, and kind of, in my opinion, proclaim themselves the best team in the state? That's the only way is to win that gold ball, Brett.
Just wonder if this loss is going to have any sort of residual effect on Kimberly, because it was a blitzkrieg by Hortonville. I mean, they came out and just boom, 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 boom. And is this something that can, like, shell shock you a little bit? Or is this something that Troy Cullen and his staff can say, hey, wash it clean?
No. It's Cullen.
Man, we'll move on.
Cullen's one of the best coaches around. He knows how to manage his team. When they have tough losses, I have no doubt in my mind he'll have a team ready to play. Remember, Brett, they've had tough losses, throughout the last 2 or 3 years. I mean, they lost those close games to Appleton North.
Oh.
When Appleton North was winning those state titles. I'm going to have no doubt in my mind that Coach Cullen will get that team back and going back and playing very well. Hey, Brett, a couple things here. Hey, check out my girl, Kayla Murray. She's like, hey, now, don't be bagging on my sister's shooting. She's one of our better shooters. Yes, Kayla. And I replied to her, I'm like, I know. I'm just saying she needs to shoot more. That's what I'm saying.
She is a good shooter.
She is a very good shooter.
Yeah.
We need her to shoot more. And so, yeah. But good stuff, everyone. And, Brett, thank you again.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll see you guys next week. And I'd like to see some more girls' games on the docket, my friend, just letting you know.
Hey, we've got 9 live streams in, and 4 of them have been on the girls' slate. So
Okay.
we're doing a good job of mixing and matching boys and girls and trying to profile
Well, I'm going to be
some
out,
of the
Brett.
top teams.
I got to talk to some coaches. So,
Yeah. We'll see
all
you
right,
back at the
everyone, have a good
office.
one.
A good point on Troy Cullen, too. It's 20th season right now. His career record, he's got 368 victories. So Ricardo's right on there. He knows what he's doing, and he'll get these kids ready to go as tournament play really creeping up pretty fast. It's going to be here before you know it. Again, I think those seeding meetings are coming up this weekend, so we should have a good, clear understanding of the paths for both teams as they look to get to the Resch Center. Let me run down the scoring before we shut her down for the Papermakers. Drought with 6, Ellisted with 2, Schmidt with 3, Pearson with 3, Karch with 2, Kiefer with 6, Kilpatrick 9, Murray with 7, Dunaway 2, and Schreiber with 9 for the Polar Bears. Schmidt with 8, Day with 7, Jenzema with 2, Draheim 13, McGlone a game-high 24, Johnson 2, and Pepler with 19. With the victory, the Polar Bears improved to 18-1 overall. That's 18 straight victories now for Hortonville. And the Polar Bears now 15-0 and looking pretty good atop the Fox Valley Association, closing in on a league title. Top-ranked Polar Bears, I should say, in Division II. And Kimberly, again, ranked 6th in Division I. The Papermakers fall to 14-4 on the season and 11-4 in league play. Up next for the Papermakers, they're at home against Fond du Lac on Tuesday in a Fox Valley Association matchup. Tip-off is scheduled for 7:15 p.m., I should say. And for Hortonville, they're at home against Neenah, but not until next Friday. And that is also a Fox Valley Association matchup. Tip-off is scheduled for 7:30 p.m. in that one. As for us, 2 live streams coming up next week. First, we'll be at historic Ron Einerson Fieldhouse at Neenah High School on Tuesday as the 7th-ranked Rockets host Stevens Point in a non-conference boys matchup. Live coverage will tip off at approximately 7 p.m. That's actually the first of 2 games, as I mentioned, that will be live streaming next week. We'll also be at Torchy Clark Gym next Friday night as Xavier hosts 2nd-ranked Seymour in a Big Bay Conference boys showdown. You can access our previous Game of the Week live streams on our USA Today Network Wisconsin websites. Just go to the sports section and scroll down until you see the Watch Our Varsity Game of the Week Prep live streams link. And once again, thank you to our sponsor, Verlo Mattress Factory of Appleton, Green Bay, Oshkosh, Fond du Lac, and Sturgeon Bay. Be sure to stop in today for their mismatch sale. So for Ricardo, Rosie, Jordan, and the crew with USA Today Network Wisconsin, I'm Brett Christopherson signing off from Jack Whippick Court here at Kimberly High School, where once again the final score tonight, Hortonville 75, Kimberly 49. Thanks for watching, everybody.